Hello everybody, welcome to the preview show delivered by FedEx. I'm your host Alan Cavana. Back with us from NBC Sports, Marty Snyder. Marty, we're going to preview Atlanta here in a second, but that Bristol race was pretty fun.
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I think we had guys who started in the front and went to the back, guys who were in the back who go to the front, and we had a little hate in the race. That's always fun, right? And to me, we kind of lost Bristol for a while, but the old Bristol is back, and I think that's great for everybody. I love the race Saturday night.
Yeah, something to talk about and something more to talk about as we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. Really, it's been 2 months since we've been to one of the cookie-cutter intermediate tracks that we always talk about. The last one we were at was late June in Kentucky. So, Marty, with that, I have 2 questions for you. How much have teams changed or improved the intermediate cars since that race? And is this a good preview for the chase because there are so many cookie-cutter tracks in the chase?
Well, you know, it's funny because a lot of teams you would think, since we haven't been to a mile and a half in a while, had not been working on it, but they've been working on it. A lot of teams have been to Nashville to test. But to me, you know, I look at Atlanta as a racetrack where really you can't take what you learn and apply it anywhere in the chase. Atlanta's a very different racetrack. It's a very low grip racetrack. It's got 3 or 4 lanes to drive in. It's a fun racetrack. Drivers love it. I wish we went there more than once a year because I think it's a fantastic race. It really provides a race where guys can lose the grip on their tires as they go throughout a run. That really makes a big difference. The tires mean a lot at Atlanta, but you can't really take what you learn because it really doesn't apply anywhere. It doesn't really apply to any of the racetracks in the chase, so speed shows up everywhere. We should not have been shocked Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick were on the front row at Bristol because they've been the fastest cars for the last month. So that speed will still show up in qualifying. That doesn't mean that's who's going to be good in the race necessarily. Atlanta's a completely different racetrack than any track we go to on the circuit.
All right, interesting stuff. And as we have been for the past few weeks here on the preview show, we're taking a look at the current chase grid because look at it now. At the top, there's always a change, and now Joey Logano is in that group of leaders, the 5th driver to get his 3rd win of the year. All of them either Penske or Hendrick cars, by the way. At the back end, the danger zone is really becoming a safety zone, Marty, because the 4 at-large drivers are in really good position to make it on points alone. Take a look at those drivers now at the outside looking in as we flip the page. The closest competitor to 16th place is Kyle Larson, who is 26 points out if he's trying to make it on points alone. And Marty, those drivers who are so far back, it seems like their only option now, it's actually pretty easy, just win. I mean, do you see a driver like Larson or a Casey Kane making and winning this weekend?
You know what's funny is when I looked at the points Saturday night after the Bristol race, my immediate thought was, this is who's going to be in the chase. And I don't know why I had that thought, but that's just what came across my mind. I look at 2 guys who I think can win their way into this, and that's maybe it. I look at Kyle Larson. They've had the speed the last month. They haven't been able to translate it on race day, though. That's the thing that I see missing on the 42 team. The other guy I look at is Clint Bowyer. I think he's got 2 very good racetracks. Atlanta's a sneaky good track for Clint Bowyer, but he's always been good at low grip racetracks, and Richmond is one of his best racetracks. So they may be able to sneak their way in too. But other than those 2 guys, I don't know who has the speed to be able to get a win in the next 2 weeks and put themselves into the chase.
And that brings us to this week's social pick of the week. Which driver has the best shot of getting his first win of the season at Atlanta? Kyle Larson, Casey Kane, or Jamie McMurray? You can vote at NASCAR.com/social. Wins so important getting into the chase. We like to pick winners. Marty, who's winning this weekend in Atlanta?
Yeah, we're on a bit of a dry spell, aren't we? We need to get a winner.
Come on second
now.
Last week.
I know, you came close, and I was hoping you wouldn't win just so you wouldn't have bragging rights. But I'm going to go this week with Kevin Harvick. You know, when I think about guys who have been good at low grip racetracks, guys who have had the speed we've talked about at mile-and-a-half racetracks, to me, that's been Kevin Harvick. You look at what they did at Darlington, which is really the racetrack surface-wise that compares most to Atlanta, in my opinion. They had the best car at Darlington. They were able to win that race. So I think Kevin Harvick is going to be very tough to beat this weekend. And they've been knocking on the door with the speed. They haven't been able to get the win in the last couple of weeks. I see them winning at least 1 race before the chase starts. Pick your poison, Atlanta or Richmond. They're going to be good at both of them.
And my pick last week, Brad Keselowski, came up just short at Bristol, so I'm picking him again at Atlanta. Brad Keselowski is going to win there because he also won Kentucky, the last intermediate track. He also won in Vegas earlier this year, another intermediate track. Joey Logano, his teammate, won at Texas, another intermediate track. So I don't think Penske rests on its laurels.
Well, and you think about Kentucky too. It's a again low grip racetrack, but a very rough racetrack. And they were so good at Kentucky. That's a very good pick.
All right, Harvick, Keselowski.
I hate to admit that.
May the best pick win. Thank you, Marty, for joining us, and thank you for watching the preview show delivered by FedEx. Have a great weekend, everybody.